Hi, grace and peace. Welcome to another edition of MACKin with Christ. I'm your host, Thais Sherelle J. Today we're talking to the triumphant Melba Moore at Joe's Pub at the American Theater. I mean, we are so blessed to have you here on our show today.
Oh, it's a great pleasure, and I'm excited, and thank you for having me.
Well, we're excited because we've seen God do so many things in your life, and that's what we want to share with our viewers today, just how God can take us through all types of circumstances and bring us back up on top. Now, before we get to where God has done, tell me about where it has all begun.
Well, it's been very exciting, and it's been very scary because you get in a lot of new territory, which of course you ask for, but then it really has to be by faith. And I was just reading, I think it was Isaiah, and basically he was kind of chiding me or the person, because he says, I got things going on that you don't know about, and stop fussing at me. You acting like you could tell me something, like, were you there when I created? I said, no, but I'm just me. Then he's letting me know, like, it's exciting, it's feels dangerous because you don't know, but I'm telling you, just keep staying my word. I'm telling you, you're right. It is important. It's big. But I got your back. I got you. And so you're here to say, we got through. It's okay. There's a lot of things, and there's no point even going into details. But you're trying to make changes, and risks are involved, and you're putting yourself on the line. And you're trying to do things that you never did before, and you want this to be graduation time so you can get to your next thing. You're saying it's happened, and you were out here watching, so you could tell from what I was doing. It's not just a performance, and when we're praising God, we're trying to show that we're ready to go wherever He wants us to go, and that we've been prepared, and we've made the rough places plain, and He's made them rough. He's made the rough places plain, and we've been preparing ourselves for each other. I don't know how else to say it, but it doesn't make any difference to say details, because hopefully you see the results. You're in good health, you're in good spirits, you're in good shape, because it's like a championship battle. Yeah. So, I'm not saying, you just look nice. I'm saying, but I thought I had. But they hate Christ.
Yes, they do. One of the things that I realize is, I tell people, I thank God for my wounds and for my past, because without that I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I mean, I had to go through some stuff, and the viewers out there, they pretty know, and they follow me. I've been through some hell and some high water.
I only say good because as I'm going through and you're watching, even some of the things I can't quite put into words, you see. Yes. The struggle, and what the struggle is, it's to turn away from the world and to focus only on the things of God. And so wherever He's taken, we're in Joe's Pub now, but everything belongs to Him, and we have to pass through here like sheep among wolves, knowing that He's not only protected us, but I can sort of feel it more clearly now, the aura of protection that's around. But the next time He challenges me, I'm going to get scared again, probably.
What do you envision that God has for you? What is the next step?
Well, I know this is the season where He trains His apostles to go out. Yes. And He says, the thing that scares you is, don't take no money with you, don't take a second cloak. And I don't have any of these things. And I know that's, and He says, look for persecution. You bear the wounds of the cross with me. And this is what it's going to be. And it's going to be glorious. Glorious is no joke. It's glory, and the glory means that you are constantly stigmatized and constantly resurrected and constantly ascending, and then you're constantly aware that you're in a pit. Yes. And it really it's hurt. I mean, it doesn't harm you, but the more that you're in His presence, the more you are aware of. You are so yuck. But He don't let you stay. He said, because we're always in His Word. We got to have this. For not just guidance, but to remind us that we're in the kingdom. We're not in hell. Right. But we need reminders because there's so much hellishness around us. So that's why I'm very grateful that you've been through things, and that as I'm going up here, it's not just I'm not just singing a song or a show or anything. He's prepared me Now I got to go out there. We're in the Lions. Matter of fact, one of the reasons I'm here in this particular place is going to have new management. In other words, I'm going to go back into Hollywood and Babylon.
Now, you see, now what you just said is something that God is doing worldwide in the entertainment field, because that's one of the things that he just said, I took you out to mold you, to make you, and to put my glory upon you, and then I'm going to send you back in the world. I mean, he was just speaking that in my spirit, and as I sat up there and I watched you, that's what one of the things he's doing. It's kind of like Job. You see, he needs to know that he has to break you down so that he can build you back up, and sometimes we don't understand what that is. I literally thought, my mom, Evangelist McGaney, is a witness that I literally thought that if I was to just step away from God, I was going to be in the hospital, in a mental hospital. That's how much. But he said, though he slays me. Yes.
World. Yeah, you hate that. You feel, you're like sensitized.
Yes.
And you don't want to go back there. You know, but of course, you're not really going back. You're going forward, and you're not the same person you were when you were there before.
No, you're going back a warrior with Christ, and that's the difference. One of the things is, once you overcome these battles through Christ, he makes you stronger and he's prepared. So when you go out there, and especially when you sing that last song, I just seen the glory, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I want more of that, because what happens is when you begin to sing after going through trials and after going through persecutions, demons have to flee. Because as I was talking to people earlier, when you overcome situations, now you can speak to that spirit and say, depart from her, depart from him, depression, because you've been through and you've overcome. But if we don't go through and if we don't overcome, we don't have power. We have to go through in order to have power. And as much as it hurts, and I says, God, for 7 years I went through, but he says, now I raise you up. I raised you up. I went through tears. Like, I says, God, why me? Why me? You know, why would these things come? He says, because I'm making you. And he says, and I've called you to be a warrior. And because of that, I need you to suffer. Because as you suffer with me, then you can reign with me. And now when I go out and I run onto people on the trains, and as I begin to tell them my testimony, they begin to cry. And they said, you know what? I'm going through that. You know, I'm going through that. And just hearing that you've been through it, not to get stuck, but that you've been through it and come out, I know that God is going to bring me out of any situation. And now when you get up there and you sing in front of people, the shackles are going to be coming off. And that's how I see, when I see you up there, I see you singing in front of people, and I see shackles falling off. I see people that have just thrown in a towel, just beginning to say, God, you did it. I mean, that's the power that he's giving you.
I know it, and it's not cheap.
It costs. It costs. There's a cost. But we count it all joy.
You know, it's trash compared to what we have in return for his presence and his grace. And as you were saying, the fruits of the Spirit, the gifts that are strength that's just unfathomable to speak. Because I'm saying, well, where's the power? Da, 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 da. Because you're going to have to speak to these demons. It's that season now. When we go out, we're going to have to cast out demons. And they can't. I said, well, you know, like you were saying, you don't want them to come back to me and say, well, your disciples couldn't do that. Would you please help me? Right. So, no, so you have to go through it. You hate even being around anything wicked. I mean, I don't even like the thoughts. Exactly. But that's good.
And that's why it's important, and I'm sure you know that, to stay in the Word and to stay in the prayer. Sometimes even coming into certain area, when I came down here today, I said, oh gosh, I remember this area. And I felt this feeling. I says, God, you're sending me right into the place that I came out of. But he says, no, I'm not sending you back the way you was. I'm sending you back with power, with anointing. Because there's many people here that are lost, and you have to lead the way.
Yeah, and I think you have a great opportunity as an artist. It belongs to him. That's why